I'm back. Okay, I was going to say, I realized one thing recently that they were talking about in the FGC, the fighting game community, and I really don't like it. I don't like how Capcom, and I think Capcom is the only one that's doing this, as far as I know, that they're like requiring people to pay for the Capcom Cup tournament, like the biggest Street Fighter tournament, in the world, basically, where all the best players go from all around the world. And they're going to charge a pay-per-view, and in my opinion, that's unacceptable. Maybe there could be an incentive where it's like, oh, you order the pay-per-view, you support them, and you don't get no commercials. You know what I mean? But that's unacceptable. This is not, a Floyd Mayweather fight. This is Street Fighter. A game that, in my opinion, although they tried to turn it into something that makes sense, a lot of it is extremely gimmicky, and a lot of it doesn't make sense. Like when M. Bison goes full screen with his Psycho Crusher special move that goes through projectiles even without meter, which is insane. And then on block is still almost impossible to counter. Or when he scissor kicks you and you block it and it's still impossible to counter. I mean, you could counter, I think a lot of the times you could counter with like, I think Blanca's like the only character in the game that cannot counter a lot of times with like crouching jab or crouching light kick. He has to do like forward medium kick or some weird thing like that to actually get a counter hit. Everyone else only gets like a jab out of it if they're lucky. And if you guys don't know about Street Fighter 6, if you drive rush the crouching jab or the standing jab, guess what? You can only crouching jab or standing jab or crouching light kick after that. You can go into a special move and you can go into a super after that, only a level 3. Actually, no, you can do a level 1 or a level 2 depending on the character. It'll combo with the crouching jab. Crouching light kick doesn't combo into anything, but it can be a starter that does combo into crouching jab or standing jab. Don't recommend standing, you'll probably miss it. But the point I'm trying to make is that, I know it's their decision. I'm not going to deny that. I've tried. I know I might sound a lot of times like I'm this like arrogant fighting game player that has no tournament wins or anything like that. But you know what I do have? You know what I do have under my belt? And all the longtime fans of the series and players that were playing, long ago on GGPO and long ago on the original Hyper Fighting that came out on Xbox Live, and long ago on the remake of Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo HD Remix, long ago, and Third Strike Online Edition, long ago, back when no one gave a damn about Street Fighter, back when there was still only a handful of people playing the game, way before Street Fighter 4 ever came out and brought popularity back to the series, like where it became mainstream all over again. Before that, I was there grinding with a handful of guys and a handful of fans, battling all day, every day. Okay? I was grinding and battling even on GGPO, even on those fake websites where you could play Marvel vs. Capcom through a website, not even through an online server like GGPO. I'm talking about an actual web page that allowed you to play Marvel vs. Capcom, because some fans that really knew what they were doing when it came to web design redesigned the game to work on a web page with Flash. Okay? And I've been beating top 10 players since back then. And this is before I knew about all the real terminology of what, a lot of people, they have the terminology for stuff. They go, frame trap. I never thought of it as a frame trap back then. I just knew it was a move that you couldn't do shit. I knew it was in the game. I just didn't know it was called a frame trap. You know what I'm saying? I knew when like Ken hit you with a normal attack, and it felt like you couldn't do nothing but get grabbed. I knew. Okay? I knew that was like, uh-oh, this is the shit that you can't get out of. You know what I mean? Like the only difference is back in HD Remix and Super Turbo, the only way to get out of Zangief's command grab setup on crouching block, when he does the cross up, that's guaranteed on basically every character in the game, unless you're good enough to super out of it. Or Dragon, I don't even think you could Dragon Punch it. I think super is the only thing you could do, and I don't even think it's humanly possible. Okay? I don't even think it's humanly possible, to be honest. Once Zangief catches you with a cross-up body splash and goes for crouching light kick, crouching jab, you're basically stuck in that. Unless you super in between that, which is very difficult to do, you basically get put in a 360 command grab situation. You could Dragon Punch out through it. You know what I'm saying? If you're good enough. Online, it's very hard to do. You could do invincible reversals through it, but guess what? A good Zangief player does body splash, one crouching jab, or no crouching jab after it. You uppercut, you miss, you get crouch sweep, crouch swept, and guess what? He does it all over again. And guess what? Now half your life is gone, and you're still wondering what the hell he's going to do next. Okay? The reason, I know it sounds stupid, but actually getting hit by the jab, a lot of people never believe me on this, but after the body splash, if you get hit by the jab, he can no longer grab you. Because you're in hit stun now. But a lot of people, a lot of top level players, they'll do like an invincible uppercut with it. But a lot of characters don't have a good invincible reversal. Some characters don't have a good invincible reversal in HD Remix. You know what I'm saying? But HD Remix was better, in my opinion, than Ultra Street Fighter 2. You know what I'm saying? Ultra Street Fighter 2 was awesome because they added Violent Ken, even though that wasn't truly Violent Ken. That was just regular Ken with a zombie color skin. They never changed the stance of Violent Ken in Ultra Street Fighter 2. They never did an update. Capcom never did an update for that. They never did an update for that. Violent Ken, which was first introduced in the animated movie where M. Bison controls Ken's mind and turns him evil. It was first introduced in that. And then they decided to base a character off of it in SBC Chaos. And that was one of my favorite characters in the entire game. And when they brought him back into Ultra Street Fighter 2 for the second time, he was introduced in the game, you know what I mean? Like, he was brought into a game. They ruined it because they didn't even give him the proper stance. I didn't even think they gave him the right sound effects. He sounded possessed in SBC Chaos, which I did buy day one, by the way, as DLC. Unfortunately, they did not do a physical version of that copy of that game. But I did buy that day one, just like I bought Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection day one. I've been supporting the fighting game developers. I've been doing that. I didn't just suddenly start doing it because there's money on the table now. I've been doing that. I didn't suddenly pretend to be a fan of fighting games now because there's money on the table. I'm a longtime fan, and I'm gonna stay a longtime fan. Whether you try to ban me from the online play and all that, I'll make a new account. I'll change my internet provider. I'll change my name to something that don't look like me anymore, just so I can keep playing online. You'll never be able to stop me. I know exactly how to go around all the stuff you try to do to me. I won't stream no more, and you won't even know it's me. You will not stop me. Okay? Obviously, Street Fighter V, in my opinion, is far superior. Not only story mode, the story mode was beautiful for Street Fighter V. Easily the best one they ever did. The graphics were better. The gameplay was better. The character selection was better. Sea Viper no longer feels like Sea Viper. Sagat, you know, I kind of like what they did with Sagat, but I kind of don't like playing him because luckily you can neutral jump him and like make him miss the uppercut for whatever reason. On EX uppercut, I think light punch uppercut will still anti-air you though, but the point I'm trying to make is, man, don't do that to the fans, man. We all want to see the event. You're going to make a lot of money off of the streams. You're going to make a lot of money on YouTube. We're going to support your stream. All the real fans of fighting games are going to support your stream. We're going to want to watch and see what happens. Do not put it under a paywall, man. You're ruining the experience. You're going to make a lot of money with the videos being streamed over the years, man. Do not ruin the experience. It's a community. They call it the FGC for a reason. It's a community of players. It don't matter if you're white, black, Mexican, Central, South American, Indian, Asian. It don't matter. We're all fans of the same thing. You know what I'm saying? We're all human. It don't matter what nationality you are. It don't matter what race you are. All that matters is that you treat people the right way in life. That's it. Whether they're man or woman, boy or girl, man, you know, adult, it don't matter. That's all that matters in life. Ain't nobody better than nobody. You know what I'm saying? We're all equal. That's it. End of story. Don't put it behind a paywall. Please don't do that. You know what I'm saying? I know you guys are like, damn, you guys don't got $5? I got $5, but I'm not going to give it to you for that. I'd rather give it to one of these girls that be dancing on TikTok or YouTube. I'd rather give her the money. If it's between choosing, you know, Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat, you know, to watch a live stream with tournament players or watch like Red Rose like Cubana or Baby Gina like shaking her ass, I'd rather just pay them to shake their ass. Straight up. I prefer to spend my money there. You know what I'm saying? You know, the more I play Street Fighter 6, the more I understand what they were doing. You know what I'm saying? I still don't agree with every decision they made. You know, I don't agree with every decision they made. I know it's not my choice. If they wanted to make a better game, they would listen to me entirely. Because at least then, it would probably be considered the best Street Fighter of all time. You know what I'm saying? In my honest opinion. I think the big problem with Street Fighter is that the recovery time has never been the right way. I think whether or not Ryu does a light punch uppercut or a hard punch uppercut, he should go all the way to the top of the stage and come all the way back down. He should not have, Ken and Ryu and Akuma should not have that light punch uppercut that keeps them grounded where it's like, it's still kind of hard to punish. A block projectile from characters that are so good like Ryu, Akuma, and Ken should not be safe on block. They should have to combo it, but when they spend the meter, it should be a combo extender. You know what I'm saying? It should be a combo extender if they spend the meter. That's what I would do. If I was making the game, that's what I would do. If a Ryu player does crouching medium kick into fireball, it does a hard knockdown. You know what I'm saying? It does a hard knockdown. Or maybe he can have the red fireball that does a hard knockdown, and then he has the EX fireball, the electrical one that kind of shocks you and then leaves you open to additional combo damage. You know what I'm saying? If you want. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, when Ken does the EX uppercut and Ryu does the EX uppercut, they should ground bounce. Either ground bounce them and make an easy follow up, or do kind of something similar how it was in Street Fighter 4, where after you EX uppercut them, it pops them up into the air, and then the character automatically dashes forward for you, instead of doing it the way it was before, where you actually had to do the dash forward after the uppercut with the focus attack dash cancel. Not everyone can do that successfully every time. Like, the beginner players are gonna give up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're gonna be like, damn, this is too complex. I'm probably not gonna try to learn this like that because it's too hard. All right? If you were to listen to me and the way I'm suggesting that you tweak the game a little bit more, like, I'm not saying, oh my God, like, I'm not trying to hate on what you guys are doing. I just believe that if you just, like, I know it might sound dumb now because you haven't played it, but if you listen to what I'm saying and you actually play it, I know it's hard to make a game, but like, if I hit a player, let's say for example, I hit a player with crouching medium kick, he should be bouncing up and down on his foot like Yosemite Sam. Ooh, 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 ah, 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 for like 2 seconds. He just goes, ooh, 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 ah, ah, ah. And he's hopping on one foot, holding his foot. Ooh, 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 ah, ah, ah. And then you get additional combo damage after that. Why do I say that? Because it's going to make it so that even a beginner player, whether you're a beginner player or an expert player, when that situation happens, you're going to know exactly what to do, because I stunned my opponent and now I can keep hurting them. Whereas now I feel like even though they did make the game easier with the modern controls, thanks to me, and thanks to my suggestion of what was originally added to Marvel vs. Capcom 3 with the simple mode, they keep changing the terminology. They should just call it simple mode. It makes perfect sense. Stop calling it modern controls. Call it simple controls. Every human being in the world is going to know simple means easier. One button special moves. You know, I've never seen so many females playing Street Fighter in my life. And it's thanks to my suggestion of adding the simple controls, the modern controls in Street Fighter 6. So you guys can sit here and hate on everything that I've been saying, but everything that I've been suggesting has made people love the game even more. Now there's more women playing Street Fighter than ever before. I've seen so many streaming on TikTok now. If you go back to Street Fighter 5, no females were streaming Street Fighter at all. 0. So am I wrong, or am I telling you exactly what I think the game should go in the right direction, bro? Like, I'm not hating on you. I care about the game so much that I took the time to really analyze and break what I do love about it and what I don't like about it. As a longtime player, it's easier to combo than ever before. Okay? I think the big problem is when you get opponents airborne, the hitbox when they're in the air is not as easy as it is, for example, in a game like Tekken 7. The hitbox for the character when they get put in the air is exactly the way it should be in Tekken 7. And I don't just say that about Street Fighter. I also say that about Mortal Kombat. I feel like Mortal Kombat is a little bit easier than Street Fighter when it comes to comboing an opponent that's in the air. Like, for example, when I do Kimberly's hard punch Rekka, which is quarter circle hard punch after hard punch, it only works after hard punch. So basically, it's only really a counter hit attack that you should use. Other than that, never use it. Because it's basically, I'm pretty sure it's unsafe on block. The point I'm trying to make is that, let's say, for example, I do a hard punch, let's say I catch him with the spray can. I get him in the corner with Kimberly. I set up the spray can, right? I hit him with the crouching light kick into the crouching jab until the spray can goes off. And then I gotta jump after my opponent, do the tiger knee motion with 2 punch, and EX command grab, air grab them. Which, by the way, with Kimberly is an excellent air to air. I'm probably the only Kimberly player in the world that's using the air grab as an air to air. Especially if you're in the air first, you will basically beat any air to air attack in the game. And if you EX air grab them, you basically land a free level 3 or free level 1, basically after it. Or any other combo that she could possibly do after it. The point I'm trying to make is this, though. Alright? I don't want to sound like I'm hating. I'm very competitive. You know, I might not have no titles. I might not have money from the FGC for winning tournaments. But you know what I do have? I have a longevity of proving that I am top tier, high level player that has beaten top 10 players for a very long time. And I'm talking about games that are way harder than Street Fighter 6, way harder than Street Fighter 5. Super Turbo is extremely difficult. Third Strike is probably the hardest Street Fighter of all time. And my personal favorite of all time. I wish every character in the game could do a universal overhead into Super, but guess what? If you listen to my suggestions, every character will be able to do it in a future game. And that's exactly what Street Fighter needs. Believe it or not, universal overhead that was introduced in Third Strike is essential. It is essential in Street Fighter. In fact, I feel like there should be like a dashing overhead. You know, I feel like there has to be more overheads. You know what I'm saying? There has to be more. There has to be more. There has to be like low hitting attacks, just like Mortal Kombat, for example, like Raiden in Mortal Kombat. He has a standing crouching sweep that hits low. But let me tell you something, it has to be safe on block. I hate to say it like that, but it only makes sense that it's safe on block. And there has to be crouching attacks that hit high. I mean, that hit overhead. Yeah, that's high. There has to be like, you know, in boxing, they have that overhand right. They call it the overhand right, where a boxer looks like he's about to throw a body punch and he crouches his body like it's a body punch, but he actually hits to the top of the head. Every character has to be able to do that. I know it's easier said than done. I appreciate all the hardworking developers and the companies that make these games a reality, the musicians that make all the amazing music in these games. I really appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? If I wasn't like a longtime fan that actually loved the series, like I love Street Fighter. Like I've been a fan of Street Fighter ever since I was a little kid. And I have not stopped supporting it ever since then. I've like literally bought every single one day one. Okay? You know, I'm not a hater, okay? Like, contrary to popular belief, I'm not a hater. I got better things to do with my time. Alright? But I am a longtime fan of fighting games, and I refuse to allow the developers to get away with it without at least me speaking my mind about it and speaking my voice about it. I have freedom of speech in this country. It's my constitutional right, and I will use it. And if you feel in some type of way that it's something else other than what you think it is, than what I said, well then bring it to the courts and let the courts decide. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I realized one big mistake that I was doing in Street Fighter 6. I realized a big mistake that I was making in Street Fighter. Especially in the corner. when you're waking up. I know it sounds stupid because as a longtime Street Fighter player, especially after third strike, you condition yourself to brace for a grab. Almost every high level player from back then, since Street Fighter 3, has always on wake up braced for a grab, because grabs are the #1 thing that an opponent can do to you on wake up that beats every attack in the game, basically, with the exception of an invincible reversal or an invincible super, which also is an invincible reversal. Not every character has an invincible reversal super. Not every character has an invincible. Every character now has an invincible. Well, Kimberly, for whatever reason, no longer has it. Because I started talking too much shit about Street Fighter early on when the game first came out, and I was dominating with Kimberly back then, and I was doing so good that Capcom decided to take away the invincibility of Kimberly's EX uppercut. It was way better at first. Now it's like unusable. I probably don't believe it was ever an invincible reversal, but it sure as hell was better than it is now. I don't know what the fuck they did to it, and Blanca does way less damage because of me. You could thank me for all this. Blanca does way less damage now. Kimberly does way less damage now. This is all because of me, by the way. None of you guys can say this shit about your character. None of you high-level players can say what the fuck I'm saying about the game. Kimberly, Blanca, E Honda does way less damage now because of me. Ken does way less damage now because of me. Let me finish what I gotta say though. Hold on. I'm not done. If you don't like what I'm saying, don't fucking listen to my stream and kiss my fucking ass. If you don't like what the fuck I say about it, kiss my fucking ass. Both fucking butt cheeks. Okay? I'm gonna end it on this. Like I said, the mistake I was making that I have to really reapply to my game, I think it's really going to solve my biggest weakness, is because on Wake Up, this is what I was going to say. On Wake Up, normally every high-level player that's been playing for a while, since Third Strike, basically, to make a long story short, automatically goes for bracing for a grab, because it beats all normal attacks on Wake Up. Okay? But in this game, it's a little bit different, because I feel like you have a lot more time to break out of the grab. Online, it probably doesn't feel like you do, but when you play in person, believe me, you do. So, considering that a lot of people like to do like drive impact when you're in the corner, parry first. Have your hand ready to parry first. This is the big mistake that has, I believe, once I apply this way more to my game, it's going to dominate all these players that think they're good. If I prepare to parry first, and they don't, I'm not saying parry, I'm saying prepare to parry. There's a big difference. So that means if they do go for drive impact, parry it, drive rush from it, and try to counter hit with a crouching light kick. Or whatever, practice it. It might be different for your character. You might be able to get a medium punch. I believe you can get all the way up to medium punch counter hit or medium kick counter hit. Depends on the character. Obviously, every normal attack in the game has a different startup animation, different frame data. Okay? I usually just go for the crouching light kick, crouching jab combo. That's why I also leave my level 3 available for those moments so I could counter hit them with a big level 3 combo and make them change their game plan if they're smart. If they're not smart and they don't try to get better, they're always going to do the same fucking mistakes. Good high-level players evolve and keep getting better, and that's what makes the community better and more interesting. Is that players evolve in different areas at different times and have their weaknesses and have their strengths. You know, the best high level players look like they have no weakness. Okay? My word of advice to all the players that were high level way before Street Fighter 5, Street Fighter 4, and Street Fighter 6, prepare to parry first, especially when you're on the wall. If you're on the corner, prepare to parry first. Prepare to parry first. Now, if they don't drive impact and they try to shimmy you or they try to go for a grab, if they try to shimmy you, hit them low. Unless you're in a frame trap. If you're in a frame trap and they try to shimmy you, you won't be able to hit them low. In fact, if you try to hit them low, you will get counter hit and eat a full combo. If you're in a fake shimmy situation, which most high level players never go for, but you can do fake shimmy situations. Like, for example, if you go for a jumping hard kick and they block it, you can walk out of that grab range. That's what I mean by a fake shimmy situation. But since it's not truly a frame trap, I can still hit them low when they're walking away trying to shimmy me, and I can hit them with a full combo. So the person that's trying to shimmy you and bait you to grab should be actually preparing to block low. That should be their game plan. The game plan of the player that is about to get shimmied is either hit them low and stay safe with a crouching medium kick, which almost every crouching medium kick in the game is safe. By the time they try to shimmy you, you'll probably be at crouching medium kick range. But you also have to keep in mind that they might try to drive impact you, so it's probably better, especially if you're on the wall, to use a drive impact cancelable special move, normal attack. I mean, not special move, a normal attack. Like for my character, Kimberly, it's standing medium kick. It has a lot of range. If they try to drive impact me when I try to hit them with the standing medium kick, I could drive impact them back. I could parry after it. I could drive rush if they do nothing. I could drive rush and then hit them with a frame trap. Okay? But if you're on the wall, prepare to parry first. If they don't go for a drive impact, okay? If they don't go for a drive impact, they might go for a grab because that's the second best. That's probably the second best option available. I think it's actually the first option available. But since you have a lot of time to break out of the grab and escape it, you should grab second. I know it sounds stupid, but believe me, you'll have enough time to escape the grab. But the problem is that this game does have one flaw, is that a lot of players, especially beginner players, they like to neutral jump the grab. The problem with that is, especially with characters like Kimberly that have a really good anti-air normal crouching hard punch, and she has an excellent mix after it, which I saw some white boy was posting videos about Kimberly. I don't know how good as Kimberly is compared to mine. I'm sure it's pretty good. But believe me, I test everything that the character could do. I don't need no one to tell me nothing, bro. You know what I'm saying? I honestly don't recommend that, especially with Kimberly, because I could air-to-air you with an EX command grab, and it'll probably beat any of your normal attacks because it's so goddamn powerful, the EX air command grab she has. And guess what? If I do counter you with that, I could basically land a free level 3 after that just for trying to bait my grab. I never try to. Online, I get hit with it all the time. Okay? But that's online. When you play in person, believe me, you're going to see these things coming from a mile away. That's why most high-level players never go for it. That's why most high-level players go for situations. They grab in situations where you have no choice but to grab. You know what I'm saying? Most high-level players aren't going to take the chance and invincible reversal your drive rush grab, because they could drive rush and block. So if they don't commit to grab and they drive rush and you do an invincible reversal like a level 3 or an invincible uppercut with Ken or something like that, you're going to get blocked and you're going to eat a full combo. And believe me, in this game, you don't want to eat too many big combos. Okay? That's my best advice. Like, parry, from what I know, parry is always better than drive impacting back. Drive impacting back wastes way more meter, and that's why most high-level players try to parry the drive impact and then drive rush after it by dashing forward. And then usually, typically, you probably get like a medium punch counter. Like with Ryu, it would be like drive rush, standing medium punch, fireball. Or drive rush, standing medium punch, dragon punch. Uppercut. Or, you know, I personally, especially when I'm in the wall and they're like very close to me, when I drive rush, I'll usually do like drive rush, crouching light kick, crouching jab, crouching jab. I think you could get maybe 3 or 4 depending on the situation. I usually like to go for 2 to guarantee that it's gonna hit, because in some situations you'll only get 2. Depending on the distance, you'll only get 2 or 1. So also keep that in mind. Don't just take what I'm saying and go, oh, what he says is accurate and what he says is true. It's very situational. Fighting games, 2D fighters are very situational. Every character is different. Every normal attack is different. Every character's approach is different. Their tactics and their strategy change depending on the character, depending on the player. You know, if you're not good at anti-airing, you're going to have high-level players jumping in on you all the time. If you're good at anti-airing, they're going to try to come at you horizontally instead of vertically. And they're going to try to drive rush in more. And they're going to probably try to drive rush in situations where you either have to block or you have to break a grab. And since you have to respect drive rush in this game, more times than not, when you're playing online, I would probably respect every single drive rush attempt. When you're playing in person, believe me, you can invincible reversal a lot of players' fake drive rush attempts. I think the only exception is like hard punch drive rush. I think hard punch drive rush is the only one that after you drive rush, if you try to invincible reverse it, they can block it and full combo you after it. Everything else in the game is basically fake. Depending on the character. For example, with my character Kimberly, I have no invincible reversal other than a level 1 super and a level 3 super. Okay? So, if I do have the level 1 super and the level 3 super, my opponent, if he was smart, he would stop doing those drive rush pressure. Especially in tournament. Because it's way easier to land. Okay? That's why you'll notice 99% of the time when I know my opponent has a level 3 available, you'll see me completely stop all the pressure that I was doing in the first round, in like all the way up to maybe halfway point of the second round. By the time I reach like the halfway point of the second round, I already know in my head he has a level 3 available. Some players that are really good and do a lot with their character have a level 3 by the beginning of the second round. I was probably the only Street Fighter player in the history of Street Fighter 6 to get a level 3 super by the end of round 1 in an actual ranked match. Okay? The only one. That's like almost impossible to do with like a lot of the characters in the game. I would imagine Sea Viper can probably do it. And by the way, Sea Viper is really incredible. You almost have to parry. It's sad, but you almost have to parry how ridiculous the timing is for her cross-ups now. It is so bizarre. It is not as fast as it was in Street Fighter 4. It's like so slow motion, but it's so effective. But yeah, I think Sea Viper is probably one of the best characters in the game. I don't know who designed her, but he designed her so wonky and so like difficult to like, I don't know exactly how to explain it, but the timing doesn't feel like the timing. So it's very hard to parry her. And for good reason. The same way it's very hard to parry M. Bison's like head stomp. You know what I'm saying? It's different, but I think they did it in a good way. Even though I did like the way it was before better, in my personal opinion. I'm not an M. Bison player, but I love his head stomp. His head stomp. I just wish he could come crashing down a little bit faster after the head stomp. I think on hit, he should is the only time he should be able to pressure his opponent with a cross up or the same side. I think after landing a successful head stomp, which in my opinion, I think it should, I don't know, maybe not his anti-air, I don't know. I think it should be his overhead for sure. And maybe the EX1 can do additional damage. You know what I'm saying? Where like he stomps you a few times and then just kicks you to the other side of the screen and stuff. You know what I mean? All right, but I'm gonna end the video there. You know, I know it's easier said than done, obviously. Tammy still does not have her pussy grab. That's insane to me. Tammy not having her pussy grab is insane. Tammy not having her pussy grab is insane. You know what I'm saying? That's insane. That's an iconic move. It has to be in the game. But I'm gonna end it there, man. I'm gonna end the video there. I don't agree with the paywall that they're doing with Street Fighter, but like I said, I'll be playing tomorrow, probably like around maybe I don't know. Maybe like I'll be starting around like 5 or 6 p.m. I don't know exactly when, but I am playing. I'm not playing any lobbies anymore. I'm just playing ranked matches. So if you want to play against me, you're gonna have to try to get lucky and join my ranked match. But I'm gonna end the video there though. I'm gonna turn off my PlayStation. All right. Oh wait, I gotta end the video first. Hold up.